from 82 when you were a volunteer, 1988 you were an Olympian, 96 you became a coach, and now the HPD. How have things changed, and how has your perspective towards the sport has changed?
See, when in 1982, when I was a volunteer, it was all about absorbing.
Right.
So I was just trying to learn. I had no clue about sports at that level, So I was just learning from when I went into volunteer, I was just observing what the Koreans were doing, what the Chinese were doing. But it was just a assimilation of whatever I could gather from them. So I was only at 20% of whatever I could do.
It was just an observation that you
Observations. I was observing them, learning from them what to be done, but I didn't know the science behind everything.
Right.
So the basics I didn't know. I completed my engineering. I started learning the science of archery, but then I didn't still know the technique. When I started playing, I started learning about the technique, and I made mistakes because there was nobody because that time India was not at that level that the coaches could coach me to that standard. So there was a lot of gaps which were there as a player when I was playing. When I became the coach in 96 Olympics, that is the time I realized that I started. So from 20%, it became 40% when I was a player. From the player, when I went into the coach in the 96 Atlanta Olympics, it was 60%. But then there was another 40% gap happening. That 20% during my coaching days, as I went and set up the Tata Archery Academy, then I went on to set up the Shrine Board Archery Academy. And today, the para archers, whether it's Sheetal Devi, whether it's Sarita, whether it's Rakesh, all coming from the Jammu Kashmir Shrine Board Center. So that is there. I started applying the principles, whatever I learned, into the coaching, into the academies, and therefore I became 80%.
Right.
Now in the last 4 years as an HPD, that 80% today I can say I'm at 100%. Because when I'm now putting, you may have knowledge, but the knowledge has to be put into practice.
Right.
When you put into practice, you learn.
Right.
So what happened was in the last 4 years, the structural changes which we are doing with the help of SAI, with the help of the association, which we are able to implement, that is bearing fruits. And that is the game changer. So implementing is what gives you that confidence that yes, this is the right approach. You make mistakes, you learn. You make mistakes, you learn. So that 20% which was lacking has come. So now I can say, with 100% surety, if given a chance now, I can produce Olympic champions, world champions within a 4-year span because I know what to be done. So I have the tools,
right?
I have the tackles. As I said, there was no sports science. So without sports science, the 20% was lacking. That sports science knowledge has only come in the last 4 years.
Right.
So even now we are learning. I'm not saying we are 100%. We are still learning. So that 100% has to be put into continuous practice, and then, but that we are putting it in with the world-class infrastructure in place. So that is happening. So therefore, 20 became 40, became 60, became 80, and became 100. Right. So the journey from a volunteer to a player, to a coach, to setting up academy, the administrator, and finally as a high-performing director within the team. The 5 stages. Luckily, I could go through all the 5 stages. So in my 42 years, now I can say I know 100%. But there will be some still cobwebs which I need to clear. There could be some areas which I still want to learn, but I'm still learning.